Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Shemishai, Bashem Kodesh, double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, to the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who risk their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers, seeds or Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Yakalia, and I'm from the GMS Jamaica Kingston camp. And in the news, current events and Bible prophecy. All right, I was just watching Al Jazeera, and they were just talking about, as you were able to see, that there's like an impending famine that's going to be hitting Gaza. And now, if you're in the know, I suspect that you are, or maybe not, who knows. But there is something going on over there in the so-called Middle East between the state of Israel and Hamas. And it's over there in Gaza and all kinds of things. So they're reporting that there's a genocide in Gaza because the Israelis, the state of Israel, they're bombing the place. Okay? As it says, UN experts say every single person in Gaza hungry due to, okay? So children are going to be suffering from malnutrition, all this kind of stuff. All right, so things are progressing, things are heating up, people are suffering. People truly are suffering with what's going on. And, people around the world in various other parts, especially over here in the West, see this and they still remain comfortable, because life has always been comfortable for them, compared to, these other people that have suffered due to wars of some sort, over these past decades. But, eventually it's going to be hitting these shores over here, right? Like, America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, we know that. But the suffering as well of people over here is going to happen. The Lord said it. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 5, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So the Lord is going to be bringing these things upon the world. Right? And famine is their sword, death, and destruction. So it's just judgment that the Lord is bringing. And it's severe judgment. All these things are quite severe, And the way that the Lord will be bringing it in these times is going to be really bad. Cannibalism is also coming, for example. So things are going to be getting really bad. So it's not only going to be over here in the so-called Middle East and over there in Gaza, but it's going to be in all kinds of different kinds of places, man. The entire world is going to be under strain. And the reason why the world is going to be under strain is because the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the rulers of this kingdom today, their plan is to bring order out of chaos, and they're planning to bring their microchip, which is the mark of the beast, to the forefront of their NWO agenda, right? So they create situations to push forth their agenda, right? And these situations are hellish upon the nations of the world. All right, even their own people suffer from these moves that they make. But I'm sure somewhere within their brain, I'm just talking as a man, I'm just making an assumption, they think it's all fine and the sacrifice of their own people is fine and all that kind of stuff. Like, they don't care. All right, that's just how the wicked is. They're willing to sacrifice their own nation for what they believe is the greater good, I guess. And that kind of ideology, of course, I'm able to reiterate because that's the kind of ideology that they put out there in their media and whatever else, that kind of way of thinking. So yeah, man, hell is coming upon the world. And for you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, it's going to be Jacob's trouble. That's what the Lord has called it, right? A time like never before upon us as a nation. And as a nation, the children of Israel, we have faced very harsh times, but this is going to be the harshest yet. So one can only imagine, once we're in the midst of it, what it really is going to be like. We read the scriptures and we can prophesy and tell you the things that are to come, but visually, precisely, it's just going to have to be an experience. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, this thing over there in the so-called Middle East is ramping up. This is the year of 2024. It was deemed, I believe, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, right? But the thing about it is that Jacob's trouble really, you know, it really calls for a sign of the end, right? Because when we're in Jacob's trouble, it means that we're dealing with the pestilence, we're dealing with the famine, we're dealing with all kinds of other things that will be happening. We'll be dealing with being faced with the hour of temptation, that microchip, right? That mark of the beast. Okay. So, you know, still speaking to over there in the Middle East, you have the situation with Iran. Where is it at? Also, oh, yeah. I looked it up on a different device. That's why it wasn't up. Anyway, Iran. News about Iran. They put Iraq as well. Okay, cool. U.S. condemns Iran for reckless missile strikes in northern Iraq. Iran launches missile strikes in northern Iraq, and Syria claims to destroy Israeli spy base. Iran fires missiles near U.S. consulate in Iraq. And Iran is a part of biblical prophecy. They're very important. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, it talks about Gog and Magog, which are the Russians, and it talks about their allies. And, well, the Russians as they dwell in that land today. And then it talks about their allies, which the allies includes Iran. All right, it calls them the Persians in it, which they were formerly known as the Persians, which really their true biblical nationality is that they're the Elamites. And those Elamites are known as Carmanians. And the scriptures talk about them, these Carmanians, that they're not going to be afraid and they're not going to back down. Ezekiel, 2 Ezra chapter 2, 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 30, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right, so they're going to be going to battle, man. They're not afraid. All right, and right now they're clearly not afraid. All right, because it is titled, Iran launched the missile strike to destroy an Israeli spy base. So is that not war? Because now it is, well, what I've seen in these war movies, if one opposition is firing missiles at the other opposition to destroy their intelligence base, because that's what a spy base is, then that is a cause for war, right? That's what usually happens, but it is going to eventually happen because World War III is prophesied to happen. It's in the scriptures, Revelation 11 and verse 14. So, Iran's Revolutionary Guards on Monday launched ballistic missiles at what is said as was a spy base for Israel's intelligence agency Mossad in northern Iraq and at anti-Iran terror groups in Syria. Okay, so anti-Iran terror groups, they they learn very well, to label it as such, right? Of course, they're going to target something that's anti-Iran, and that's a terror group as well. Taking that straight out of Esau's handbook. Just label them as these things, and that gives you a clear reason as to why you can commit mass genocide upon them if you want to, as Esau has done in the past. In the latest escalation of hostilities that further risk spiraling into a wider regional conflict, the strikes were condemned by the Okay, so all right, so Iran is deeming it as everyone's just deeming it as terrorist attacks. Violation of international law. They want to file to the UN Skrill, but yeah. Iran's on a list. They're on the same list as North Korea. Iran is fully looked at as an enemy for the West and all those that are affiliated with it. So when it comes to Iran and North Korea, and even Cuba, actually, um, Jamaica's financial institutions out here are not allowed to conduct business with them. And that's for North Korea and Iran, especially. Do you know that, like, at some financial institutions out here in Jamaica, like, they keep a very keen eye on Cubans? Yep. Anyway, so yeah, this is what's going on. So things are escalating, man. Things are escalating, and I guess we'll just continue to see how things will continue to progress. But eventually, it's going to progress to World War III. It's going to progress to the fulfillment of the microchip, which is the mark of the beast. It's going to, which then, once that arrives, can the destruction come, which is the destruction of America, which is Mr. Babylon the Great. And right before the destruction, the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel will occur first, and then the destruction will happen. And as it says in Revelation chapter 15 and verse 2, it says that the elect will watch. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. So the elect will be in the chariots of the Most High, looking down at the destruction upon America. Okay? So all praise is glory and honor to Yahweh Shem Yeshua, Bashim Kal Kodesh, Shalom.